So how far out were we from the event where you were like, oh crap, we have 2,700 people?
I think it was 2 weeks out.
My name is Rick Kiley. I am the host of In the Unlikely Event. I'm also the managing partner of SoHo Experiential. We are a New York-based marketing agency that has been producing events for over 20 years. It's our first time recording one of these live, so thank you to Jeff Fortman, to TruNorth for making this happen. We're really excited to be there. So just before we get started, I think I know the answer to this, but how many people in the room here actually do work in events? Can you just let me? Good. That's what I thought. All right, everybody works in events, so we're amongst friends. So you all know this, right? We work in a very crazy industry. One, and I think someone was talking about this earlier, one that's built on this idea where one of our goals is often to obscure from the viewing public any insanity that goes on behind the scenes, right? We're trying to create something that's seamless and flawless. And so, they get to enjoy these delicious drinks, they get to eat the food, they see the talent, but are none the wiser about all the work that goes on to make anything happen. And hopefully they never see anything that goes wrong. And that's what In the Unlikely Event is about. This is the podcast where we're telling stories about real events that have met with some significant challenges, talking big challenges from time to time. And then, of course, the heroic efforts that people like you, the event producers, have to go through in order to make them happen. Sound good? So we always know that door has to open, the curtain always rises. So everyone has a margarita in their hand, right? If you want one, okay, cool. These are actually on behalf of Marie Christofferson, who works with Campari America. They are made with Espolón Tequila, which is a wonderful client of SoHo Experientials, but also the brand at the center of today's story. So we're going for some good immersion here, as well as good thematic alignment, okay? We all good? Cool. So with that, we're going to get started. Joining me to help tell this tale, first, as mentioned, is Marie Christofferson. Marie is the Experiential Marketing Lead at Campari Group. She's a seasoned marketer who has built her career focusing on events and hospitality. At Campari, she oversees large-scale activations and partnerships for trade and consumer initiatives across its portfolio of iconic spirits brands like Aperol, Wild Turkey, and Espolón Tequila, among many, many others. You can hoot and holler for those brands. I like them all. Yeah. We also have Jeannie Veneri. Jeannie is a senior vice president. I said seasoned. I wanted to combine that together. It's true. She's a seasoned senior vice president of client services at SoHo Experiential, who runs the Campari account. She is an experiential marketer who has built her career delivering complex, high-pressure programs with creativity and just the right amount of controlled chaos. Chaos is going to be part of the story today. Jeannie has run business on Campari, Remy Cointreau, American Express, and many others. Marie, Jeannie, welcome to In the Unlikely Event.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Thank you.
We're really happy to have you here. All right, let's set the stage for the unlikely event we are talking about today. Each year, the spirits industry descends on New Orleans for Tales of the Cocktail. It's a week where every brand is trying to outdo each other to win the hearts and minds of attending bartenders. In 2024, Campari America decided to go big. They asked SoHo to help them produce 6 unique events in 7 days, and the biggest one, a full-scale nighttime event called Noche Neon, celebrating the 21st anniversary of Espolón Tequila. The plan? Build the experience for about 1,000 guests flowing through the night. The reality, well, it turns out there was a lot of interest, like triple the event capacity. So the team had to make a tough call. Make a last-minute change to accommodate everybody or cap the attendance and deal with the consequences of turning people away. Unfortunately, it turns out that this attendance issue was just the beginning. Marie, Jeannie, let's get into it. Okay, I'm going to stop talking for a second. Marie, to you, set this up for us. Tell us what Tales of the Cocktail is and why it's so important to Campari America.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tales of the Cocktail is the largest gathering of spirits and hospitality professionals that happens in the United States. So every single year you see thousands of people, whether it's distributors, owner-operators, bartenders, a huge audience for us, suppliers, media, and more. They all descend on New Orleans for a week of networking, events, and education. So for the spirits industry, for suppliers like myself, for people who are really focused on the on-premise, which is bars and restaurants, as well well as advocacy within the trade. Like, this is our Super Bowl. This is the moment. There is no better way to reach a highly engaged audience on actually a global platform, because we see attendees come not just from the US, but actually from all around the globe.
Yeah, and you've been investing in this event for years, right?
A decade plus.
A decade plus. Cool. And so Noche Neon, talk to us about this event. What was Espolón trying to achieve with Noche Neon?
Yeah. So in the year that this event took place, Espolón Tequila actually had a milestone anniversary. It was the 25th anniversary of the brand. I think a lot of people look around and think, oh, that brand was built overnight. And everyone in this room knows that that's actually not the case. So we thought that this was a really wonderful opportunity to celebrate this milestone, as well as the community that built us. We were very fortunate that from the very start, some of our most fervent advocates and earliest adopters were bartenders and were the on-premise. So we wanted to use this to kind of enter into a larger stage, host an event at a larger scale, and celebrate both the brand and the people that built us.
Awesome. All right, Jeannie. So what does it take to build something like this at Tails?
I mean, no pressure. It's their Super Bowl.
Right.
Right? So you have to have all of your ducks in a row. It's a small army that it takes to rally around planning for Tales of the Cocktail. We start about 6 months out. It's the longest lead time of any sponsorship activation we do for Campari, from site visits, making sure we have the coveted venues that everyone will want to attend. That are
there's competition for those venues, right? Because a lot of the alcohol beverage suppliers are trying to get in there.
Yes, and basically, we actually start now. It's a key learning for us that we do the site visits before we actually do the concept development, so we can make sure that the thematic and what we're trying to achieve fits within the four walls of the event space that we're hosting the event at. So it is collaboration with the client, deep collaboration with our creative team, production, finance, all of our different partners to bring this vision to life to support all the objectives for the brand.
Okay, so just roughly though, what did we come up with as our plan? Like how big was this event going to be? I know I said 1,000 in the opening, but like what was? I gave it away. So, but guest count, what was the event flow? And really like how are we defining success at this event? I think is the
so we always have our standard KPIs. Again, we agree on at the onset of planning to make sure that everyone knows what we're trying to achieve for the brand. I think I want to focus on the attendance metric and the number of guests engaged. I think that's paramount to the story that we're about to tell. So the goal was 1,000 guests on flow, which means at any time in the venue, there's probably 250 guests, maybe 300. We have a really tight door protocol. So that way, like if it's one in, one out, or we make sure we manage expectations so no one has a bad experience when they're entering the venue.
Right.
So that was really important to drive awareness to the entire Mexican Spirits portfolio of products, but also really to ensure that there was deep advocacy for Espolón, right? And these people that attended the event went back to their establishments, got more Espolón, and continue to recommend the product to people that came into those establishments.
Right. So we're trying to get bartenders to recommend the brand when they go back to their establishment. That is ultimately the goal.
Word of mouth is huge.
Got it. Okay. So, all right, let's start getting to the conflict here. The RSVPs start rolling in and the guest count starts piling up. At what point did you start to think this might be a problem?
Well, we opened the registration site and could not believe that within a few days, we had 2,700 RSVPs.
Okay.
For an event with a total cap of 1,000 guests.
Yeah. And no more than like 300 can be in there at any one time.
Correct.
Okay.
And we usually have attrition, so we're not scared when there's like over our RSV cap, but we have never seen that much, I think, demand before. And we had a very coveted spot. We had a nighttime event, which we have not done before at the cocktail. So
okay. And so how far out were we from the event where you were like, oh crap, we have 2,700 people? Like when are we talking? We
realized very quickly that we were way over capacity, but I don't think it really sunk into anyone the magnitude of what if they all actually show up. And then so we thought about it for about a month. We're like, well, it's usually like a 50% drop off rate. Tails is very cluttered. There's lots of experiences happening. So we thought, there's probably a 50, 60% drop off. And I think about a couple weeks out, we were like, but what if they all show up?
I think it was 2 weeks out.
2 weeks out.
Unique about this experience is that we typically launch recruitment 4 to 5 weeks in advance for this specific festival because, as Jeannie mentioned, it's very crowded. There's a lot of competition, right? Every supplier is trying to get all of the same people at their party that's happening at the same time. We usually see like a pretty standard behavioral pattern, which is that when recruitment goes live, we see an immediate response within 48 hours of things getting pushed out on our own channels.
Right.
Then there's like usually a little bit of a dip, right? 4 to 5 weeks out is a long lead time for some people, but certainly within that last week, you start to see another resurgence. This event did not follow that pattern.
No.
I think from the time we went live with recruitment, it's just the numbers felt like they were going up, 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 and there was really no dip, which is why I think about 2 weeks out, we started thinking, what if they all come? What are we going to do?
Right. Okay. So I do have to pause here for a second because I want to introduce our content sponsor. We work with a company called Out of Office. And it's because of like issues like this that they are trying to solve this. So you are as an event producer have a big decision that you have to make with sometimes very little time in order to validate whether or not it's the right choice. And what they've built is a platform that helps centralize a whole bunch of your information, your freelancers, your partners, so that you're better equipped to make these decisions on a dime. Brad Jackson, who's the founder, is actually here today. I thought he'd be sitting right here, but I can see him out there in front of the 26. He's that blonde guy. Anyway, if you get a chance, talk to him, say hi. I can promise that they will make your life easier as an event producer. Anyway, we're going to keep moving on. So we're moving back into this story here. You're planning for 1,000 people. You're realizing, holy crap, what happens if everybody shows up? And so now you're feeling like we're producing an event that could have like over 2,000 people, 2,500 people come through the door. That's like a totally different event, right? So what is the conversation? I'm at the brand side. What's the conversation that you're having at this moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's important to acknowledge in this story is that I oversee a tiny but mighty team of people that report into me. And so for this specific event, I was not managing it directly, but I had someone on my team that was overseeing. And so he was the one that came to me and said, it was like a Friday morning. He was like, I'm so sorry. Can you get on the phone? I think I need to loop you into something. And I think as a leader, it's really important to recognize, especially in this space, that the way that you receive information and the energy that you create is how your whole team is going to react. Not just my team, but the agency team, our vendor partners. And so in that moment, for me, it was like, how do I act like a duck? Like I'm going to be really smooth on the surface, and then under the water, I'm like paddling, right? My internal monologue is like working through solutions like crazy, but outwardly, I'm calm, cool, collected, very solutions oriented. Obviously, there's a ton of implication when it comes to resource, cost constraints, staffing, right? But at the end of the day, we're going to get this done. We're going to be positive, and we're going to find the solution, and we're going to work together to do that.
Okay. So you made the decision, though, to lean in, right? We're not going to turn people away. And so that kicked off a whole bunch of stuff. Just want to know, like we talked about 2 weeks, it was 2 weeks out. We were like realizing this problem. How far out were we from the event where you're like, okay, we're going to go and try to meet everybody who wants to come to this thing?
I think it was immediate. Like there was no other choice.
Okay.
For a few reasons, like this is the largest festival that we participate at and have the best opportunity to reach engaged trade, right? It's a milestone anniversary for the brand. It's a huge marquee evening experience that we've never done before. And one of the pillars of my team as experiential within Campari Group is executional excellence. And so it just was never a conversation that we were going to dilute the experience or scale back and cancel RSVPs or potentially run out of product and catering. Like the only way forward is through, and we're going to get it done.
I love the metaphors. Only way forward is through. We got the duck. Everyone's familiar with the duck. We've all been ducks, right? Okay. So Jeannie, we are here. We are 2 weeks out. The decision's been made. What does that trigger for us operationally? What did we have to do?
It was a massive domino that fell.
Right. Sure.
Right? Marie hit on some of the high notes for all of the considerations. Every single variable event element had to be reconsidered and requoted. The one thing we had going for us, because I try and find the silver lining in things, is that the venue could accommodate the increased guest count. for a price, for a cost.
Sure.
But so we basically had to revet the entire staffing plan. So that was our agency team on the ground, it was our promo staff, it was bartenders, barbacks, passers, bussers, security for this increased headcount. Every single thing we were serving. So the amount of food, the product, the mixers, the garnish, the glassware, the ice. I've learned a lot about ice
Sure.
working with Campari Group.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Ice is really important. Yeah.
And then all of our giveaways. So we had this really cool 25th anniversary merch that we were giving away. And at Tails, the merchandise becomes like a badge of pride for the trade that are walking around the rest of the festival and becoming a billboard for your brand.
Yes.
So every single element that was variable, not a fixed cost, against this event had to be re-quoted and aligned with the client on investing in that.
Right. And produced in very quick time.
Yes.
Okay. So you mentioned, because it's going to segue into further complications, but I want to talk about the team, because you mentioned, now we all of a sudden have a lot more people that need to go and be there to support and execute this event, which led us to another complication. So I just wonder if you can talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. So I don't know if everyone remembers, but July 19th, 2024, there was
who remembers what happened July 19th, 2024? Anyone?
And don't Google it. Don't Google it.
No. All right.
Okay. There was a global travel outage.
CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike. Does anyone remember that? Yeah.
So we had approved incremental local resources to help. We knew the team needed them on the ground. But Asa Carey, who oversees our live events group, we love him. He's a team player. He deals with a lot of high production, technical, big experiences that need a strong captain, let's call it. And he made the decision. He's like, he had a producer down there at the time, and he said, I'm just going to go. So he gets to JFK. His flight is canceled. He goes to LaGuardia, where he has another flight booked. In the Uber on the way to LaGuardia, that flight is canceled. And he proceeds to go home, which we don't blame him. We appreciate the effort, but he did not make it down to New Orleans.
Okay. So how did this impact things? Like, we were trying to fly people in, and like people couldn't get there. So we were depending on this larger team. How do we deal with that? Did everyone
we supplemented with local staff that we could find. Anyone that was down there, even if they weren't stacked against this event, became part of the run of show for this event. So we created competing priorities, but we trusted the team that they would figure it out. They're hardwired to do this, and they were able to see it through.
Okay, that's crazy. Okay, so now we got the double the guest size event that we're producing with very little time. We've got missing team members. We got people extended. We're pulling from other events. We've got a reduced prep time. We're still not quite done with the hijinks. Yes, something else happened next.
Well, a few more things happened.
Let's go.
Which one should I start with? The wall?
Let's start with the wall.
Okay, so I'm not sure if everyone knows, but the label artwork on the bottom for Espolón is a source of Mexican pride. Storytelling, it conveys historical moments in their country's history. And it's something that Espolón, like obviously on their different products, also wants to celebrate that heritage and that culture. So we decided to adorn the entire space with oversized replicas of the bottle artwork, the label artwork. And each different area had a certain function. So one was a wall that people could help color in, another activated in the black light. But the focal point of the event walking into this venue was the 25th anniversary Espolón birthday photo backdrop. That was a lit sign. It was the photo moment, the step and repeat for the whole event. So the fabricator shows up on site and it's unfinished.
Unfinished how? What do you mean?
So it was to spec. The wall was the right size, this large scale wall. It was entirely black and white.
Okay. So it was supposed to be filled with color?
Partially
neon. Neon. It's hard to have a neon themed event when your creative isn't neon.
Got it. So we have the Noche Neon event with the black and white, film noir look, and it didn't exactly jive. Okay. So, okay. All right. And you mentioned a couple other things. We have the backdrop issue.
Yes. So the morning of the event.
Yes.
The DJ tested positive for COVID.
Of course.
So, and this is like a very important event, immersive. We want the DJ to have the right playlist and the right style of music to be culturally relevant.
Yes.
And he was no longer part of the equation.
Okay. So the DJ's out. The backdrop's not neon, right? The backdrop's not neon, and we're short-staffed, and we have double the amount of people coming. Okay, that's a lot. Is there anything we're missing?
I did find out,
Uh-oh.
I don't know if anyone knows this, but apparently all of the bar tools were with our back of house company on their flights and the bags got lost. So we had inadvertently placed extra bar tools from our warehouse that we restore the trade engagement assets for Campari on our truck. And everyone was so annoyed they were on the truck. And then we had to pull from that inventory because we had no bar tools.
All right. I don't want to ask, was there anything else at this point? But does that
Those
cover
are the
it?
primary things.
Okay, so we got to start turning this towards a happy ending, right? So all the challenges have stacked up here. What was the first move? How are we solving these things? Let's start with an easy one. Let's start with the DJ. How did we deal with him?
The team was really quick on their feet with this solution. So we had a touring program for Espolón at the same time as Tails,
Okay.
called Espolón Underground. And because the other DJ was very ill, they ended up putting our lead crew PA assistant, who happens to DJ on the side, in touch with the underground DJ for sample tracks, playlist inspiration. And then basically from that moment forward, as you mentioned, what hats are people wearing? He got a new assignment. Instead of being a PA, lead crew, he was now the DJ controlling the entire atmosphere and vibe for this event.
All right. And how did that work out?
I mean, it was great. It was like bangers all night. It was all
right,
the
cool.
music I wanted to hear. And this is like one of my favorite anecdotes because when the team calls me as the client and is like, we're so sorry, the DJ has COVID, but guess what? The PA is going to sub in. I was like, this can't get any wilder. Like, this is
Like,
going to
what
be
could
great.
be worse? No music? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I took a sip of my margarita for that one. Okay, so we got the DJ solved. Luckily, we happen to have a spare DJ in the crew. That's awesome. How did we deal with the issue with our non-neon backdrop?
Yes, the team grabbed Sharpies. So pink,
Sure.
yellow, marigold, orange, like all different colors of Sharpies.
Yes.
And this is not a coloring book-sized problem. This is a large scenic wall.
Like
and they
bigger than this?
a little bit bigger than this. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to get
And they
context
started
here.
coloring.
Okay.
So hours and hours and hours of coloring they did not have to spend on coloring in the wall. They did. They colored through the client walkthrough
right.
up until doors open. That's how long it took to color in the portions of the wall.
Did any clients jump in on the coloring or no? I'm wondering.
Sadly, no.
Okay.
Did you cheer them on?
Yeah, of course.
No,
I
that's
was
good.
just like, listen, that's above and beyond when it comes to client service. So I really commend the team for their approach on that one.
Oh my gosh. And the bar tools we took care of just by...
Luckily, we had them on the truck. And everyone was annoyed that they were there, but then they
Amazing.
came in very handy.
Okay. So all these things are piled up. And so this stuff that you're talking about, the coloring, the DJ, this is like 11th hour stuff we're dealing with. Like how close are we to the doors being open when you're still coloring the backdrop?
They colored up until doors opened.
And up until doors open. Yeah. Okay, great. Have to ask, was there a point for either of you where you were like, I'm not sure we're going to make it? Like,
I mean, honestly, for me, no.
Good.
I think when
Okay.
you're in this field, you have to be used to like thinking on the fly, making quick decisions, being solutions oriented, being very creative, right? And I just think that collectively as a full team across the Campari and SoHo agency team, like the team was so proactive and timely with their communication and quick on their feet that it felt like we were firing on all cylinders and like you could have thrown everything at
Yeah.
us and we were still going to make it work.
yeah, you get like that event producer's high, like that runner's
Totally.
high thing, right? Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's great. So then I'll ask the other side of the question, was there a point where you were like, okay, we got this? Like at what point where you're like, okay, we've made it and now the event is happening and people are liking it?
That day, definitely. I think by the time we all were able to get to New Orleans and it's like load in, right? We'd worked through some of the implications with the venue around like staffing, catering, security, right? We'd kind of worked through that. And it was like, okay, we can host everyone. That's fine. And then everything else was just a comedy of errors to be working through. And so normally I only do one client walkthrough. I think that day I did a couple, all things considered. And I think it was later into the afternoon as we're really getting ready for that like final production push that I just looked around and thought, in light of everything that's happened, like whatever will be, and it's going to be great. And the guests will be none the wiser. And we just always have to remind ourselves that.
Yeah, that's true. Did you have a different moment in time where you felt like we had turned the corner, Jeannie?
So I was not on site in New Orleans. My experiential director was, and our entire team. And I was getting a lot of SOS texts, calls, like images of things being like, is this okay? Like, are we on the right track? And then at one point they stopped. And
Oh,
it
like
was
all the
very
text
quiet.
messages
And
stopped?
I'm hoping no news is good news, right? I mean, which also it could be very bad news. But I was going for the no news is good news. Then I started getting images after doors opened of like the team wearing the neon cowboy hats, of people on the dance floor. And I was like, okay, we passed the hurdles and we've made it. Yeah.
That's great. So the guests start showing up. How did the event go?
I mean, it was great. We had a line around the block, like well into the event. People are on the dance floor all night. They're drinking the cocktails that we worked so hard to procure and make sure we had enough of.
Right.
We had quite a few surprise and delight moments. It was a birthday party, right? So at one point, someone literally jumped out of an oversized cake. We had Norteña dancers. Like it was the whole thing, and everyone loved it.
Great. Just the follow up. Did Espolón get what they wanted out of the experience in terms of influencing bartenders? Did they leave recommending the brand, that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think obviously a lot of the on-site consumer interaction and what we heard from the guests in the days thereafter, I think was really gratifying. I know there's some mixed feelings about swag in this room, but I can confidently say no one does swag in the spirits business like Campari does. So it is really a treat. Thank you. It is really a treat to actually walk around New Orleans and like see people wearing the swag that you created or have them come up to you in the days afterwards and say, oh, that was my favorite party of the week, right? So from an emotional perspective, absolutely. From a metrics perspective, we actually did exceed our attendance goal by 50%. So happy we were able to accommodate that extra 50%. And then even when we talk about online and amplification, because that's been such a theme today, we actually led share of voice of the festival with 25% of all online mentions about the festival were Campari Group. And that is the largest of any supplier at the festival. We are not the largest supplier that activates at this festival. There are other larger brands that are just as present, if not more. So that is a huge feather in our cap to be so dominant when it comes to the conversation, both in person and digitally.
Yeah, let's do it. And do you think now that you did this event like bigger than expected, did that change your perspective? Are you now like, we should invest that large every time?
Not every time. Not every time.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think, like, do we scrutinize venue contracts? And is like the list of questions we asked a venue partner now a little bit longer? Probably yes. But on the flip side of things, I think it just proved that we can do hard things. We can
Yep.
come together and we can take risks and we can think big and we can take on things at a scale that we previously hadn't been doing, because I think there was a sense of fear or potential failure. And in light of everything that happened and the results that we got out of it, I think that this was just a nice reassurance that really cracked open the door to think bigger and really think for future potential and what those possibilities could be.
That's great. We just have a couple minutes left, so I have to ask our final question we always ask on the podcast. There are definitely less stressful jobs in the world than working in this industry. So why do you guys keep coming back for more, even when you have experiences like this?
I'll go first. I think being involved in the full life cycle of a project is incredibly gratifying. So from the initial seed of an idea that takes months and hours of planning and like blood, sweat, and tears, literally sometimes lots of tears, to get to a finished product, and then being present to see consumers having these magical and memorable experience, moments that with your brand in real life. And there's nothing like that. It's incredibly gratifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, my answer is very similar to Jeannie's in that I have realized throughout my career that the thing I'm most passionate about is connection and the lived human experience. And events is a crazy career to be in. It's very stressful, long days, longer nights, so much to be juggling and managing. But when the doors open and someone walks through and the guest is smiling and they're taking a picture and you see that enjoyment, it's just such a tangible payout for all of the weeks and months that you spent planning something. And so for me, I think it's a privilege to get to be the person that facilitates that connection and creates those spaces. So sometimes I feel like a masochist for being in this field, but at the end of the day, like there's nothing on the planet I would rather do.
Those are great answers. I love that. And I love the people in this business. Like it's been talked about a lot. Everybody's a wonderful creative problem solver. We have to deal with these challenges in real time. And it's very, very special people. All of you are very special people for being in this industry. So thank you so much for sharing this story with us today. Just as we close again, I want to say thank you to Jeff Fortman and TruNorth for having us here. Again, to Brad Jackson, and out of office. Sorry, you were outside when I did my whole spiel
You were
about
actually
you,
out of
buddy.
office.
No, it's all good. No, it was great. It was eloquent. You were awesome. Thanks for supporting the show. Thank you all for being here. And if you enjoyed this, the podcast is In the Unlikely Event. You can find it on YouTube or in your favorite podcast store. If you got a story that you want to pitch, you can look us up. We love to tell great stories. And that's it. I'm Rick Kiley. This has been In the Unlikely Event. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening to In the Unlikely Event, where we unpack the moments that went wrong and celebrate the people who made them right. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And hey, while you're at it, drop us a review or share this episode with a fellow event pro who's been through their own little disaster. You can catch more great content by following Unlikely Event on YouTube, Unlikely Event Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and SoHo EXP on LinkedIn. I'm Rick Kiley, and I'll see you next time, right here on In the Unlikely Event.